This is The Gorge, the podcast where my friends and I get together and we gorge ourselves on what's happening in the world of video games and entertainment.
The Gorge is brought to you by Patreon. That's patreon.com/thegorge, where for just $5 a month you gain access to not one, but two entire podcasts. $5 gets you Takeout, a monthly commentary track where we don't feel like playing something, so we watch something and talk over it instead. And $2 is the grab bag tier. It's everything else. Anything we think is funny or interesting that is not applicable for an entire episode goes in there. It's fun. We do lots of different things in there. If I can finish Lost Belt 7, that's where the Lost Belt 7 episode is gonna go.
I believe in you.
I'm gonna do it, I swear. And yeah, basically any little thing, that's where that goes. And if you're feeling, especially saucy, $10 will get you pictures of my dog.
Ooh.
And if you're feeling really saucy, $50 will get you a badge on the Discord that calls you a sucker and nothing else.
That's correct. That's true. And however much you kick in, we appreciate it. From $5 to $2, $10, $50. Don't actually give us $50.
$8,000.
If you want to give us $8,000, just PayPal us. Don't worry.
If you want to give us $8,000 a month for this podcast, I will fly to your house and shake your hand.
Kiss you on the mouth.
No, let's not go that far.
To any corrupt billionaires ruining America who are listening to this podcast, $8,000 a month will not make me publicly or privately change my opinion on you, but you can feel smug knowing that you are, in fact, buying my willingness to take your money from you.
That's correct. So yeah, that's it. That's all we got. Is this a roundup episode?
Yeah,
this is just a roundup episode.
Just our first roundup of the year. We did the Gorgies. We got those in the bag. Great time as always. Probably our best Gorgies ever.
That's correct.
As always, it was a tremendous. The Gorgies is I love when we do the big episodes focused on specific games we all played or whatever. But the Gorgies are, I think, my favorite episodes we record on this show because they're always just chaotic.
They're chaos. It's usually us trying to inflict violence on each other in whatever way we can through the distribution of awards. Didn't know that was possible until we started doing it. So yeah, it's good. Go listen to it. They're also the longest Gorgies we've ever done because it's 2 episodes,
2 parts.
instead of the usual one. Yeah,
we changed the way we do ratings for things this time in a way that guaranteed we would maximize the amount of psychic violence committed per category.
Exactly. But now we're back to just normal old chit chat. I know what I have to talk about. And it's only the one thing. So if anybody wants to go ahead of me, they can. I've really only got the one thing to talk about.
Well, I can collect my thoughts about what I'm going for. So.
Well, okay. I can go first because I also did the thing that you want to talk about.
Yeah,
that we can't talk about.
It's impossible to talk about without spoiling it. But...
Melissa was like telling me about it, and she's like, I haven't felt this way since we played 13 Sentinels, and I was like, that's exactly it.
Yeah,
I think it's the hardest I have been sold on the show so far.
Yeah, we're talking about Severance, by the way. Yeah. Severance is on Apple TV. It currently has 11 episodes, 9 in the first season, 2 in the second, with more to come every Friday. They're actually doing a normal weekly release.
It's like TV.
Like TV. It's crazy. It's amazing how effective that is in making sure a show doesn't die instantly.
Yeah. It's hey, if people can discuss it for a week, they remember it. And there's more window of them to say, hey, go check out this thing I'm watching. Get caught up so that I can talk to you about it.
Right, and then you can theorize with me week to week, because Severance is one of those shows. It's one of those, one of those what the fuck is going on shows. Mm-hmm. And Severance is really one of those shows.
Yeah, it is.
Where you just spend the entire first season going, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it is very 13 Sentinels, in which we end an episode and I go, what the fuck did that mean?
Yeah, it's really good.
Melissa is analyzing the contents of characters' fridges for clues.
That's smart, actually. I think if that ended up being relevant, I would not be shocked, right?
She-
Because it's one of those shows.
She gave me the link to a YouTuber who does theories for the show. That's how deep we're in.
Yeah, I knew it would get you. I knew it.
All I know about that show
Mhm.
is like the core premise, like the very boilerplate core premise,
Mhm.
and also that it has the guy from Parks and Rec in it who looks like my high school principal.
Yes.
He's really good in this,
He's
too.
really good in it. He plays like... Because he's Ben... Ironically, he's Ben in Parks and Rec, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And like, you know, Ben is just kind of like a nice, kind of gormless guy married to Leslie, right?
Right.
Right.
And when we love him. But he plays like... that like this guy who just kind of sucks, but like in a way you vibe with. Right?
In a way that's understandable.
Yeah,
when you
like
learn about the circumstances of who he is.
Yeah, and he just really sucks, and it's really impressive. And it's funny because it also kind of feels like the world's like weirdest dating sim, because there's a lot of women who are interested in this guy who sucks ass, but in a way that I find compelling.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really great. Patricia Arquette is in it. She kicks ass.
Yeah.
The whole time. It's just like a lot of really crazy like casting choices, because fucking, like I said, John Turturro is there, doing Old Man Yowie with Christopher Walken. It's directed by Ben Stiller.
It's directed by Ben Stiller.
Yeah, so Ben Stiller is the executive producer, and he directs about half of the episodes. The other half of the episodes are directed by somebody named Aoife McArdle, who I'd never heard of before. And the thing is, it's because she's a music video director. And, like, this is, like, one of her big things. And she's really good, because she's handling, like, it's literally, it's almost an even split between the two of them. And I have just really been enjoying. It's impossible to talk about unless you're willing to accept spoilers. I know Saturn is interested, so I'm not going to do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, no, it's just it is one of those don't look it up, just watch it.
Just watch it. You know the most basic premise, which is that it's a show about people who have undergone a surgical procedure to literally separate their brains from their work and their home lives. And what happens because of that.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I do also need to watch that show based on the premise alone, because if I do ever run Triangle Agency for you.
Yes.
That is a game that is very simpatico with that concept.
I'm already...
Triangle Agency is also kind of pulling from Control, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And
Triangle Agency is also a game that goes, no, the fact that your player characters and who you are at the table are separate people is something that is known and understood by your player characters, because our table sonas are them having an RP group exercise in reverse.
That's so much fun.
That's interesting.
That's so much fun. I super fuck with that. And I would actually not be surprised. Like, I don't think Ben Stiller played Control, but I would not be surprised if somebody who was responsible for the extremely interesting art direction of Severance played Control.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Because that show also has like a super unique, like this weird hybridization of like modern aesthetics and then like 50s, 60s, and 70s kind of corporate America aesthetics all smushed together. And it's really, really cool and interesting, and I like it a lot. So yeah.
The Ben Stiller thing, it just feels very Jordan Peele.
Oh yeah.
You know, like this guy who was known for lowbrow dumb comedy is like, I'm going to direct one of the greatest thrillers of all time.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, I get that, because I know that a lot of, I mean, you know, that's really common that eventually comedians get sick of being comedians and they want to do other things. I feel like there was like something that came up. I don't want to Google it because
the thing is, a punchline is just another form of drama.
Well, yeah, and
so true, right?
The thing is, comedy. 90% of comedy is timing, which is also true about drama and horror.
It's about anticipation and payoff.
So, and Severance is doing the anticipation and the payoff thing really well, because it's not like a Lost type show.
Yeah, there's no smoke monsters or anything.
There's no smoke monsters or anything like that, but it's also not a Lost type show because it's like at least giving you the occasional little nugget of like, this is what this is and this is what this is. Like it intends to pay things off.
Is Severance, am I confusing it with something else, or is there a bit in Severance where someone like talks to a like kind of weird console on a wall?
That's something else.
That's something else. I think you might be thinking of.
Because I whenever I think of Severance and the premise of it, more so than anything else, and I think of this one Tumblr meme I saw that was just this guy repeating to something on a wall, like, just circling back on this, realigning, just circling back on this.
That might be a reference to that Blade Runner sequel, because there's a sequence like that with Ryan Reynolds.
Maybe.
Not Ryan Reynolds, Ryan Gosling. That'd be a very different movie.
That'd be... Hold on, wait. Maybe
hold on, you're cooking. Hold on.
Let her cook. No, that movie's really good too, by the way. But that being said, I really like Severance. It gives me something. I'm already excited for streams on Friday, but also Severance episodes come out every Friday. And I'm really looking forward to it. So also Apple TV, currently 3 months free. So literally I will be able to watch all of Severance before having to pay Apple TV a dime. Fuck yeah.
That's the spirit.
Trying to see if I could find that thing and didn't find it, but I did find what is to me a very funny quote from Ridley Scott about Blade Runner 2049, which is someone asking him, what did you make of the way Blade Runner 2049 was received? To which he responds, whispering, I have to be careful what I say. It was way too fucking long. Fuck me. And most of that script's mine. Really? Yes!
Beautiful.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
A commenter on this, yeah, it's like looking at the Mona Lisa and saying there's too much paint.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Oh, I do have one other thing. It's really short because I haven't gotten very far. I did start Voyager.
Yeah!
I started Star Trek Voyager. That's a hell of a show. I'm only like 3 or 4 episodes in. It's interesting. I'm gonna stick with it just because I'm fascinated by Catherine Janeway. But like, the fact, how do I say, I don't want to spoil this too much, but also I don't think it'll bother Ben too much either. The fact that Cass and Neelix don't stick around for that long does not surprise me.
Yeah.
Right? Those characters are insane. They are like the most bizarre choices you could make for Star Trek characters.
I will say, at least, because this is not huge spoilers either, you are not free of Neelix yet. By a country fucking mile.
No, we haven't even got to the bit. We haven't even got to all the stuff with Cass. Cass, by the way, everybody's going to prison who was involved with like her character design. They're all going to prison forever. That is the worst wig I've ever seen on a network TV show. It's a helmet. Like
it's not good. It's very bad.
It's not good. Her alien makeup is so lazy. I miss those that halcyon days when you could just like slap funky ears on someone and be like, well, they're an alien.
That's
right?
an alien now.
That's an alien. And like, it's even more like low effort than like a Vulcan. Cause like Vulcans have pointy ears, right? Mm-hmm. But they all also kind of have like, you know, generally speaking, usually give a Vulcan like a little bit of green makeup to show that Vulcans have green blood, right? And they all have like kind of pointy eyebrows and very like, you know, very like specific types of haircuts, right?
Right.
Like that's that is a Vulcan. You can spot a Vulcan, but like, so there's a little bit more effort there. And like Bajorans in Deep Space Nine, there's a little bit of effort there because you do have to at least make the nose ridge look like incorporated, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Cass's little alien ear things literally just look like they're attached to her wig, not her head.
Yep.
I've
really amazing.
There are a couple aliens in TNG that I've seen where I'm just like, you didn't apply that makeup correctly. Those prosthetics are on wrong.
None of these shows were meant to be viewed in the resolution we are viewing them at.
It's very true.
It's so true. And I don't mean to fixate on that, but every time she's on screen, I'm just like, girl, what are they doing with you? Right? Like, that's like currently, because I'm not far enough along to have like strong opinions about anyone, except that I also think Neelix's entire character design is just fucking hideous. But like, that's it. My strongest opinions right now are that I don't know what they're doing with Kes. Neelix is hideous to look at. And
I just looked him up. I don't like that.
Yeah.
No.
I'm obsessed with Catherine Janeway, despite all of this. It might carry me through 7 entire seasons of like not DS9 tier Star Trek, right?
It will. She is. I think she is and like again, like I'm not like, oh, Catherine Janeway's a bad captain. I think she's she does lots of crazy things. Yeah. However, she is bar none the single most entertaining Star Trek captain.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay, I just saw this picture of the two of them. And I would not believe this is from Star Trek.
Well, you need it.
I would believe this is from a sitcom that got 3 episodes called like I Married an Alien.
It looks like a spinoff to Alf.
Yeah.
I think Kes is probably more so than anyone else the emblematic Voyager character.
Also, by the way, Ben, this is not the wig she's wearing on Voyager, at least not in the episodes I've seen. It's much worse. This looks like her natural hair. The actual wig that Kes wears is so much worse.
Oh, I think I've seen a picture of the wig.
Yeah, it literally is just a helmet. It looks like they just put it on top of her head.
It's like she's a Lego person.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by it. It's great, ? Janeway rules. And I mean, I've only just started. Mm-hmm. But I think Janeway absolutely kicks ass. So,
she's so good.
She's so good. She's so good. Fucking Kate Mulgrew, like, she's actually not that short. I thought she was way shorter. She's 5'5", right? So like short for a model, but not that short.
That's like normal height. That's like average height for an American woman.
Yeah, a little bit shorter than average, but like not that much, like an inch shorter than average, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But she plays her with the most intense short woman energy that I thought she was far shorter.
You would be forgiven for not thinking she was short.
Yeah.
Because she just conveys so much power.
She has so much power. I love her. And yeah, no, I'm really excited to watch more Voyager because it seems insane.
Catherine Janeway is always has the energy of like as though she is standing at a slight A pose because she has to account for the huge brass balls that she's got flying around.
Exactly, you know? It's amazing. Captain who basically always solves the problem with violence. How could I?
You're telling me Sarah likes this character?
Yeah,
what really?
What? Very intelligent.
Crazy. That's insane. I know. And I didn't think because, like, you know, I've watched like Oates before we started watching Deep Space Nine together. Would like occasionally turn on Voyager just as like noise in the background, right? So I would walk through and I'd be like, I don't know about this one, Chief. So I wasn't sure. I'm like, can one character carry me through all of Voyager? And the answer is yes. I already know the answer is yes. So
yeah, here's the thing. Voyager episodes as a whole are wildly ill-considered. Just like conceptually the worst things you would ever get out of TNG or Deep Space Nine. However, seeing the ways the characters react to these situations, especially Janeway, makes it all worth it.
That's correct. So that's all I've got going for me right now is I watch Severance and I watch Voyager. 2 very wildly different things.
Different, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that if Janeway somehow got into a gunfight with like the Gundam piloted by Amuro Ray and like Tuvok was like, Captain, there's a 15-year-old human boy piloting that robot, she'd go, I don't care, blow it up! We can't get back home if that Gundam busts our warp nacelles. You have to kill him.
I've got a dog. By the way, the mere fact that I thought Oates was kidding. No, she really is basically just trying to get home to that dog. Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool.
I'm very excited to watch
It's
Voyager.
so cool. They literally introduced that character by her talking to her fiance and basically saying like, "Hey, you have to babysit my dog for me while I'm gone." And he's going like, "But what if I'm busy?" She's like, "I don't care. This is a me or my dog situation," and he agrees to do it.
Reminds me of the bit in Resident Evil 2 where in the original game, if you examine Jill's desk at the police headquarters, the caption says like, "Oh, it's a photo of must be a boyfriend or something." And then in RE2 Remake, when you can actually look at the photo on her desk and it's a dog.
It's a dog. It's just a golden retriever. It rules. Okay, now I'm done. Sorry, I needed to get that out of my system.
Well, okay, besides Severance, I watched a bunch of other things.
Ooh.
I started and finished The Tick.
Okay.
Oh.
The Amazon version from 2016.
Yeah.
That lasted 2 seasons and very clearly had its entire lunch eaten by the boys.
Oh, that's brutal.
Because hey, Amazon, why does Jeff Bezos let you have 2 superhero parody shows? And the answer is they don't. He didn't. One was way more popular than the other.
Yeah, that's really tragic.
Which sucks because I discovered this show because you ever do the thing on YouTube where like you just get caught in a short roulette where you're just scrolling the shorts because the next one is always right underneath the one you're watching.
Yeah. It's TikTok, yeah.
And eventually you just get, clips of episodes. I gotta change tabs because I can't see Neelix's face anymore.
I know what the podcast icon is.
Yeah, I know what the fucking podcast.
He looks like he has turkey, like cooked turkey skin. Anyway,
yes, Ben, he's a Star Trek alien.
Anyway, there's better looking Star Trek aliens. Anyway, no, so like, and
there's worse ones too.
I was scrolling and like eventually I got through the clips, like all the clips of House, Breaking Bad, and Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
And eventually just landed on a clip from The Tick.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute. This is funny. Was The Tick show good?
Oh no.
And then I watched the first episode and went, oh, it was good.
And then it never got any more.
And then it only got 2 seasons. And the shitty thing is, it's like a regular TV show. They're only 22 minutes long.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
There's more Star Trek in a single season of Star Trek than there was in all of The Tick.
So was it like was it the way TV sucks now? So it's like 8 episodes, but it's only 22 minutes long?
Yeah, it was like 10 episodes a season.
Ugh.
That's fucked up.
And
Why even bother?
Sucks. Why even bother?
Yeah, I know. And it was like surprisingly like really funny. Like I was really enjoying it. It's like it had a lot of heart. But it could still be like dark.
Sure.
Like it was an R-rated show. Like they were dropping F-bombs. And like doing really horrible things to characters. Like the main villain of the first season, there's like, so the idea is that has either watched the Tick cartoon?
No.
Okay.
No.
So the idea in the live action show is that the city has been bereft of superheroes for a while. Like superheroes are a known entity, but the city, which is it's just called the city.
Sure.
Has been void of superheroes ever since the Flag 5 died.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they died is that their villain, their head villain, the Terror, gave them all syphilis and their eyes rotted while they were flying their airship.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know if that's how that works.
And it crashed into the city, crushed the protagonist's father, and the ones that survived stumbled out blindly and were shot in the head by the Terror.
Oh, sure. Okay.
You know, in broad daylight in public in front of everyone.
Yeah, funny.
And we're describing an episode of The Venture Brothers.
It does sound like an episode of the Venture Brothers.
Yeah,
it sounds like something that was like, or it was like a 5-second gag in the Venture Brothers, right?
Yeah.
Wait, you were describing what happened not to Jonas or to Jonas's father, but to Jonas's father's father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was poisoned by syphilis and then shot in the head in broad daylight.
But this thing in which, you know, in the Venture Brothers or the Boys would be played for like very dark humor. In the Tick, it's just played straight, as horrifying as it would be to have happen.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, you know, we have the Tick.
Right.
Who is this big, giant, goofy, Silver Age superhero. It's like if Adam West Batman were to be dropped into like Law and Order. Or like SVU or something.
Sure.
Right? And it's funny because like the thing that sold me on the show completely is the first 2 episodes of the show is like it's the main character Arthur is just like a regular. He's the one whose dad got crushed, so he's kind of developed a complex about, you know, the Terror. Because the Terror is supposedly dead, and Arthur doesn't believe that he's dead, and he's been trying to investigate this conspiracy. And the Tick just appears in front of him one night and gets him out of a situation in which he's spying on a group of like thugs, like smuggling weapons. And the next 2 episodes are anytime Arthur is alone, the Tick is there. But if someone else is around, the Tick has already left the room.
Okay. Yeah.
So the implication is that the Tick is all in Arthur's head.
Right.
And they carry this for about 2 episodes before the 3rd episode when he goes to he finds his sister and they're talking and the Tick is there and he thinks he's going insane. Like he's starting to think the Tick isn't real. And the Tick is trying to talk to his sister and he goes, Tick, she can't hear you. And she goes, I can hear him.
Oh.
Arthur, who is this?
Great.
Here's the thing. If I'm like talking to some guy, like if I'm just like meeting him or he's my friend or whatever, and he's hanging out with a suspiciously large like dude in a completely full body covering blue latex suit, I'm gonna politely avoid meeting his gaze also.
Yeah. Like, I don't know about this one, Chief.
I feel like I'll get roped into either an improv bit or something much worse if I acknowledge that he's there.
There's a great bit in the start of season 2 where after Arthur finally accepts like he's gonna be a superhero and like him and the Tick start doing training, his sister Dot checks in on him and he's got like a black eye from the training and he's like, oh yeah, the Tick gave me that. And she's like, is he hitting you? And he's like, yeah. Well, no, I mean, we're training. We're doing exercises to be better superheroes. So he is hitting me, but not like that.
I'm glad for the main character's sister that he's assuming they're in a domestic relationship.
Yeah.
Woke queen.
That's right.
There's a great meta joke where the first episode of the show, since it's a pilot, things are a little different, you know, than the main show would have. The Tick's costume is awful looking.
Right? Is it
like
a Marvel costume?
Yeah, there's like lines and texture all over it. The mask part doesn't really quite fit right on the actor's chin.
Perish.
And then in the next episode, he has a completely different suit.
Right.
And Arthur comments that he's like, you look different than you did last night. And he's like, I don't feel any different. And they just don't talk about it.
Great.
And then in the start of season 2, he gets a new costume that looks like completely. It's a case of reverse MCUing.
Right.
Like his season 2 costume is like completely streamlined. It's just a big blue suit. And
right, like the Tick should be wearing.
Yeah. And Arthur finds like plates of his old costume like lying around the apartment. And the implication is that he's a Tick. He molted.
Great.
That's silly.
It's a fantastic show, and I'm really sorry that it only got 2 seasons, because, like, I like it way more than I like The Boys.
Well, yeah, that's not hard. Oh, God.
What else? I finished TNG.
Yo, you did.
I watched all of TNG.
You watched all of TNG. You really went through that shit too, man.
Yeah, it was really good.
It is good. That's a good ass show. TNG is good. And
then, of course, that means I started DS9.
Yes, the best one.
And so far, I think I do. I wouldn't say I like TNG more than DS9. I'm most of the way through season 1 of DS9.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I necessarily like it more.
Sure.
But I'm more willing to just watch episodes of TNG than I would DS9.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
I mean, I guess that makes sense, because, like, TNG is more episodic. I mean, most of DS9 is pretty episodic.
But, like TNG is so episodic.
Right.
They aren't allowed to do anything that could carry over to another episode.
Right, yeah.
I get that. They introduced Ro, and they're like, all right, and she is gone, and she will show up once a season.
Very funny, though. Ro's actress, the initial plan was for Ro to have Kira's job, right?
Oh, word? I couldn't tell that they were the exact same character.
Yeah, except Kira's way better after a certain point. But, like, the whole thing was that Rose actress just didn't like being on Star Trek, which, shocker, you have to work with Rick Berman. I don't blame her.
Yeah.
I think there was also a scenario where she was beefing with a lot of the other actors, too, right?
Oh, was it?
Maybe.
I think so.
I believe that.
I think this is a situation like that one girl from Twin Peaks, where it's just like, I kind of hated everybody on that show, and I didn't want to do it anymore.
I didn't want to be on it anymore, so I peaced out. But it was the same thing. Ro was supposed to be like the Bajoran rep on DS9, and she didn't want to be on the show anymore. So they write her out at the very end of TNG, and they introduce Kira and Sid, who is better. As in, is probably one of the best characters in Star Trek, depending on what day of the week you ask me.
Also, it means that in basically every episode of Deep Space Nine, Nana Visitor is there.
That's right.
Which is a good thing.
And she's just so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
It's really unfair that Deep Space Nine came out so long ago, and it's like, what if we had not one but 2 of the last living true elves be on our show in the form of Nana Visitor and Alexander Siddiq, who are just like ethereally beautiful. It's insane.
And then fucking Dax's actress, Terry something or other. She's so immaculately beautiful too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's absurd.
Like, it is a scenario where Alexander Siddiq especially is so beautiful that there's an episode where they put him in old age makeup because, like, you know, it's a Star Trek episode, and there's a Star Trek episode where someone gets turned old or you see the future or whatever. And as compared to how old Julian Bashir is supposed to be in that episode versus how Alexander Siddiq looks now, looks like if you shot, like, Julian Bashir with the ray that gives you Havana syndrome, right? Like, he looks like he ate deep fried cigarettes every day for his entire life, compared to Alexander Siddiq, who looks like he could be like the new Dos Equis most interesting man in the world.
Well, no, because Alexander Siddiq very fittingly plays Ra's al Ghul in Gotham.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Alexander Siddiq, who is also famously, like, unagingly beautiful, right? Like, of course.
I feel like Alexander Siddiq and Rami Malek could be, like, competing vampires in a movie.
Oh my god, yes.
It's very, speaking of the age thing, it's very funny watching the last episode of TNG. And seeing Picard in old man makeup, where it's like, that's just what Patrick Stewart looks like.
Just what Patrick Stewart looks like all the time. Yeah.
Patrick Stewart became 50 at 30 and has remained 50 for the rest of his life.
Yeah, no, Patrick Stewart was, like, born old, right? Like, it's really impressive.
It's like I remember seeing a clip of like an old production of his where he had hair and everyone was like, that's not right.
Take it off. No.
I feel like he must have come out of the womb going, "Mother, I am hungry."
Yeah, totally.
You have to feed me, mother.
Yeah.
I love the contrast between Picard and Sisko.
Benjamin Sisko kicks so much ass.
Sisko is great. He's such a fantastic leader. I like that he is not a captain.
He's not a captain. He is just like somebody's dad. He really likes baseball and cooking. Like, I just love him.
There have been several episodes where he just like the things that Picard would have like yelled at someone for. Are things that he's like, oh fuck, whatever, man, just fucking leave.
Just don't let me catch you doing it.
Go. All right.
That's
I'm going to pretend I didn't see that.
Exactly. Benjamin Sisko's like guiding principle as a captain is, you're not in trouble if you don't get caught.
It just reminds me of the thing from like the Fantastic Mr. Fox, who's like, if what's happening is what I think is happening, it better not be.
Yeah.
I feel like Sisko is like, even more so than Picard, the guy in Star Trek who would become Aramaki as an old man.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Totally.
Because by the way, Major, are you trying to get my attention with that getup or whatever? It's such a fucking Sisko line.
Yeah, absolutely. It rules. Peanut, you're not going under that blanket. Lay down. Quit it.
Like, even the presence of Quark also it just like is what completely diverges this from the tone of TNG.
Oh, I know.
Quark is so fucking good.
That's the problem with like Deep Space Nine, is that like I can't tell you who the best character in Deep Space Nine is because it changes every day.
Yeah.
Right? Like, as you get further along, it's just the problem is that the primary cast is really, really good. And there are two secondary characters who might be better than both of them, which is a huge problem as well.
Mm-hmm.
Have you met Dukat yet? Have you met Garrick yet?
I think they've only been like
Dukat shows up in TNG a couple times, doesn't he?
Does he? I think
Dukat's in TNG.
does.
Yeah. His actor's in TNG, but he's not playing Dukat.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he's still playing a Cardassian though, like of a similar state.
I think he's playing the Cardassian that tortures Picard.
Yeah, he's the Cardassian who tortures Picard, but it's not Dukat.
Yeah.
But they liked him so much, they're like, yeah, you can come back and be a Cardassian.
Dukat has been in, I think, in 2 episodes.
Okay. Cool. I love him. He's horrible.
It's really good, and I know that like eventually the tone will stop being we repurpose these TNG scripts for Deep Space Nine.
Yes, literally.
Where things like Rumpelstiltskin is going to stop showing up.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying it for now because it is fun to just watch Sisko not put up with this bullshit.
Yeah, that's the funniest part.
Yeah, because I watched the Q episode of Deep Space Nine because Sisko punches Q in the face and Q's like, well, I don't want to play with you anymore. You're mean.
You're mean to me. Jean-Luc wouldn't treat me like this.
Fun information about Gul Dukat's actor, by the way, Michael Alaimo. He has the nickname The Neck because of his prominent neck muscles.
Word?
And is basically directly responsible for the design of the Cardassians insofar as the makeup artist just sort of invented them based on how he looks.
That's funny.
For real? Like I never noticed anything weird about the Cardassian necks. What?
For a long time, I'm like, damn, that's still a really uncomfortable looking prosthetic. No, that's just Mark Alaimo's neck.
That's just what he looks like. I love him to death.
Oh my god, I'm looking at a picture of him now. He just looks like a Cardassian.
Yeah, that's just what he looks like all the time. It rules. I love him to pieces. He's so good. Don't Google anything about Gul Dukat, please.
I'm not. However, look at this picture of a Cardassian in disguise as a human.
He's just got those eyebrows normally. It's so cool. And then you haven't met Garrick yet, right?
I did for like 2 episodes because he helps Bashir with something.
That's the whole theme of their fucking relationship. Please look forward to that, where the show is basically like, ooh, we're gonna be gay, and then Rick Berman started paying attention, and it's like, no, they ruined it. But no, that whatever homosexual tension you're like, is this? Yes, that was intentional by the actors. It rules. What a good show! I missed Deep Space Nine already.
I also I get to see more O'Brien, which I'm always happy to see more O'Brien.
O'Brien is really good. O'Brien is really, really good. I will say, I think Deep Space Nine is really good. Like, I think its first 2 seasons of Deep Space Nine are significantly better than the first 2 seasons of TNG.
Oh, for
no
sure.
No contest.
I went and watched a season 2 episode of TNG because so what I'm doing is whenever I just need something to do, like if I'm just building in 76 or whatever, I will roll a D8, and that's what season of TNG I watch.
Oh my god!
And I'll roll a D20, and that's what episode of TNG I watch.
That's so funny, dude.
So I got a season 2 episode, and I'm like,
well, Ben,
this is a different show.
You should technically be rolling a D20 plus a D6.
Well, if I roll a 20, then I roll an additional D6.
Smart. That's smart. Okay.
And like a season 2 episode, I'm like, this is a different show.
Oh yeah,
this is not TNG.
Yeah, no, it's not great. There's like a handful. I think Magus in the Discord very helpfully compiled a list of like the good episodes of TNG season 1 and 2, which I need to watch. But like, I think Deep Space Nine's first 2 seasons are kind of weak, but it's no contest. They're totally watchable. It's just like, oh, this is pretty good. And then you hit season 3 and it goes from being pretty good to the best Star Trek. Right? So you just kind of have to tough it out. It's still really good though. I really could talk about it forever. I'm looking forward to eventually doing a Deep Space Nine episode where I can
don't worry. I'm getting through it. I'm getting through at least an episode of Deep Space Nine a day.
Yay!
So it will not take me long.
I'm so happy. It's so good. Cool. Cool.
I did 2 other things. I watched Sonic 3.
Oh, okay.
It's good.
Good.
It's really good, actually. The ratio of Sonic to human characters has shifted dramatically into Sonic's favor.
Good.
What you want.
Yeah. Jim Carrey got to be 2 characters, which is always good.
Great.
Keanu Reeves does a great job as Shadow the Hedgehog.
Sure.
We did get to watch a small child die.
Yay!
Though I have heard it is not that she is gunned down by federal agents anymore.
She is not shot by federal agents. She is exploded, though, which is still pretty gruesome.
I see.
Okay.
Here, I've heard everyone I've heard who've gone to watch that movie really enjoyed it. Though it was my funniest, the secondhand experience was seeing the IGN review. That's like, yeah, man, of the 3, this is definitely the best one so far. It's really good. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do it next. As they give it a 6.
That's the Sonic curse, though. This is the greatest Sonic has ever been. 7.5.
Right.
Sorry, Frontiers.
But no, I enjoyed it. I like Ben Schwartz as Sonic. Idris Elba's Knuckles is good, and Colleen O'Shaughnessy is Tails because she's Tails.
Right.
I think it is still a little fucked up that she's the only one who is the actual game actress. But that can change in the future.
It feels to me like that's a scenario where it's like, look, we have the Parks and Rec guy playing Sonic. We have Idris Elba Knuckles. We have Keanu Reeves Shadow. We cannot possibly fit any more fucking names on this poster. Just let the video game actress do it. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And she did get billing above several of the other live action actors in that movie in the credits.
Oh, good.
So good.
Well, that's for her.
But no, it was actually like a really good adaptation of Sonic Adventure 2.
No one's showing up for Tails, says some studio executive as somewhere Dan Video Games feels a hair raise on the back of his neck and sudden anger for no particular reason. I'm
showing up for Tails because his movie design is so fucking adorable.
Yeah, it's like premium soft toy, like perfectly toyetic.
They made him so much smaller than both Sonic and Knuckles that he's just adorable.
I'm also showing up for Tails.
Yeah. I like Tails. I like most of the Sonic characters. I got no beef with any. Sonic is one of those things where it's like, if you hate a Sonic character, then there's something wrong with you, because
exactly.
What could a Sonic character have done that offended you so much?
I think only Vector the Crocodile is in the running for being a contemptible Sonic character. And that is solely due to Shadow the Hedgehog, to be clear.
Yeah, but can you really hate Vector the Crocodile, notable MILF lover?
No, I do, however, think it's objectively funny, though, that in the ending where Shadow's like, I guess I'm gonna kill myself, Vector's like, well, not yet!
Wait a minute!
You can do that later, but we still need to save the world!
Save the world and then kill yourself.
Kill yourself on your own time, dumbass!
You're on the clock right now.
If you die, who's going to pay me?
We do have to cancel him, but I respect his hustle.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh god, they should put Vector in Sonic 4. I want to see that alligator skin texture.
They should not put Vector in Sonic 4. Absolutely not.
Look, if Sonic 4 comes out and it is not the Amy Rose show, I will riot.
Mm-hmm. The only other thing I did is I started playing Paper Perjury.
What's that?
Which is the Ace Attorney that came out on Steam a couple months ago.
Okay.
Well for those lately.
Yeah, I know. It is good. It's not and I'm only on case 2. But it's not as in depth and intriguing as your standard Ace Attorney case.
Sure.
And the character designs are a little bland. The sprite work itself is excellent. And the locations and everything are very well done. It's just that their designs are a little, they leave a little bit to be desired if you're like coming into this expecting an Ace Attorney character.
Mm-hmm.
But the writing is really is good. And the actual like interrogations and confrontation stuff are well handled. I'm assuming it's going to get better. People who have reviewed it are saying that it is, it does improve, and that it fills the void that Ace Attorney has left by not having a new game in a while.
Sure.
So I'll keep giving it a chance. It does feel like Ace Attorney is the middle of the Venn diagram of Paper Perjury and Of the Devil.
Okay.
Of the Devil is a little more, I would say that Of the Devil is more like the middle of the Venn diagram of Ace Attorney and Danganronpa.
I can also see that. It's a sliding scale.
Yes.
It's like a scale of Paper Perjury to Danganronpa, and Ace Attorney and Of the Devil are in the middle of that.
I feel like we're like, even then we're still in the middle of the continuum. We're like on the furthest, more Ace Attorney side of the continuum is like Famicom Detective or whatever.
Yeah.
And then on the furthest Danganronpa side of the scale is Umineko, which is the 160-hour kinetic novel where people get exploded in the blood constantly.
Yeah, I was literally gonna say that, like, technically Danganronpa is just on a sliding scale that leads all the way up to Umineko. Yeah, because it's Umineko. All I feel like, even though Umineko came after Ace Attorney, I still feel like Umineko is like the end point of all detective-based visual novels at this point, right?
Yeah, I think it's because Umineko is the one that skips the inspiration game completely and just goes, no, I'm not really based on, like, yeah, I like Tsukihime and Fate. Mm-hmm. I'm not really based on their visual novels, though. I'm based on detective novels.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I have gone back to Nancy Drew directly.
We're talking about Sherlock Holmes and Agatha Christie right now, okay?
We're returning to the Hardy Boys on First Principles.
That's right. I gotta finish that. That's what I'm gonna do this year. Beginning of this year. I'm gonna finish Umineko finally.
Yay!
I am very excited to continue playing Paper Perjury while playing on stream Ace Attorney Investigations, and
also of the devil.
Yeah, also streaming of the devil.
Yeah.
Yes, if you didn't catch the announcement in the Discord, starting this Friday, the 31st at 8 p.m. Eastern, I will be streaming on my personal Twitch channel with the rest of the Gorge Goons, episode 0 of the Devil. And then hopefully continuing from there for episode 1 when that comes out next week, though I'm not sure on what specific time will be available for all that yet, so we'll keep that posted. But that's also going to be fun. I was just telling my friend who works on that game about you recently, Sarah, because funnily enough, I was talking, their partner is doing a live read of Umineko currently, but they've been on hiatus for a couple months just because like they're got other stuff going on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, some of the people I'm going to be doing the live read with, or they're also people who have been trying to get the read visual novels with me. 2 of them have not finished Umineko, and I feel like it's not going to happen until I show up at their house with a gun and treats.
You're just gonna have to show up with the gun and be like, I will now read Umineko no Nako Koroni to you while you work, Sarah. And I'm like, okay.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Saturn will do character voices for every single one of those bastards, I'm sure.
My friend's partner, who's like nominally involved with the game, I don't think they do as much on it, but like they're like also contributor to that like circle who makes those. But their live stream series is they play just the Steam release, no mods, which means no voice acting, which means they are in fact doing a live read of the entire game.
But that also means Steam release, no mods.
Yeah.
So the
excuse me. They enabled the classic artwork.
Okay.
But
Saturn, you scared me for a second there. I'm like, what do you mean they're reading Umineko with the bad Pachinko's character?
But what I mean is like they have the classic sprites.
Okay.
And like literally no other changes whatsoever.
Okay, that's not so bad. I mean, yeah, it sucks because you do have to essentially do a live read, but that's kind of fun. Right?
Yeah, it is fun. I would love to do it if not to, but like I don't want to cramp their style, and also because that would straight up take half a year of my life to do that.
No, that would take forever, and that would require a lot of time and effort, and also reliving some really hard parts of Umineko.
That is not something I would ever conscript you people to help with, just because that's something I consider like an intimate form of self-harm.
You know how some Catholic monks like self-flagellate? It's like that, like just you're going to town on your back with the cat of nine tails, but instead you're just reading parts of Umineko that will destroy you. It's fine.
I really hope we roll Name of the Rose on our movie roulette.
Oh boy!
Oh goody!
All right, is that it, Ben?
That's it. Let's get to some news.
Oh wait, Saturn.
Yes. Now, to be fair, mercifully, I haven't really done a whole lot. I made the announcement I'm going to make. Otherwise, I mostly did the usual sorts of holding pattern games I do. I have not made the time to start Severance yet because yesterday I had some emotional stressors, and today had a different emotional stressor in the form of I drank so much hot chocolate that I felt like my stomach was going to explode immediately before this podcast, and have spent most of it in a state of mild misery.
I can't believe the hot chocolate betrayed
because I made it with delicious Lactaid, and I'm realizing that does not save me from the fact that my body does not like straight up milk anymore.
No. Oh yeah, no, Saturn.
I thought it would be fine because it was Lactaid, because it's helped before in the past, but no. My body's like, that's milk. Get that out of here.
We must get rid of it. It's like, no, but milk is good.
Milk is good. We love it. I've been playing lots of Fallout 76, though. That's really it. I've been working on prep for the stream, so I have not really done. You finished
Lost Belt 7.
Oh, that's true. I did Lost Belt 7. I really can't talk about it at all.
Yeah.
Except what I can say, just very vague impressions thing. The climax of that Lost Belt makes me understand why they went, we cannot go immediately to the end of the FGO story. We have to do a whole other intermission arc after this. Because it is simply, in terms of production scale, unfollow-upable.
I see. They needed to put some distance between it and the finale.
I don't think it's possible that no matter how... I think if they tried to go any harder for the content of the finale, the studio would literally burn to the ground.
I'm so excited.
Fate Grand Order is straining under the burden of what, like, the final, like, the big climactic finale sequence of Lost Belt 7 is, to the point where, privately on a call as I was playing it one time, I was marveling at the fact that my Pixel 6 Pro was going into a fight where the game was just like, I can give you maybe 10 frames a second, Chief. That's all I got in me.
Oh, Saturn. The fact that can happen with Fate 3 and Order is one thing. I've had that happen to me while playing Balatro.
Oh, I believe that. There's so much computing happening in like a really heavy hand.
Where the mult would get so high and so many cards would be going out that I'm like, my phone is dying.
Why is my phone so hot? Oh, fuck!
Oh, fuck, I'm at 40% battery now.
It just makes me glad I switched off BlueSky. It just makes me glad I switched off BlueStacks, because I am confident that it is not possible to do that finale at BlueStacks.
That's really funny. Okay.
Like, considering how often Gilgamesh's normal Noble Phantasm would just make that game crash on BlueStacks, I don't think Lost Belt 7 is completable if you only play on BlueStacks.
And that's really something, because, like, FGO is a turn-based, like, RPG. Like, what are these moves doing?
I don't know what's going on in the tail end of Lost Belt 7, but I will say that even, like, so because you haven't finished Babylonia yet, Ben, after Babylonia, one of the, like, common gimmicks that FGO does is fucking with the map. Like, your world map starts to change as the, like, of, like, whatever zone you're in starts to change as like the plot progresses, as like a way to show that, like, oh shit, things are popping off, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they do that a little bit in Camelot, but not like
it happens. Yeah, I've seen in events and stuff. It's happened.
Yeah, and that's become like FGO's favorite way of showing that, like, things are popping off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lost Belt 7 is set. Again, I could be wrong, Saturn. But this is, my current understanding. Lost Belt 7 is set inside the Hollow Earth, and, like, it is essentially in a long tube that functions like a very long halo ring, right?
There's a specific piece of art that is I think from a book cover, like a very classic book cover, that I believe it is directly referencing.
I would not be surprised.
Here's a picture of it.
Yeah.
Oh.
I need you to understand, Ben, the map looks like this and is also a completely 3D model.
Yeah, and so...
so that's why your phone is exploding.
Well, no, the phone is exploding inside of a boss fight. However, the map is also crazy.
The
map isn't helping.
Like, the map is just, like, one part of it, but it's like the perfect expression of the amount of money that they clearly spent on the production of Lost Belt 7, right? Because the map is just not one flat map. It's a 3D object that you progress upward through as the story goes on, right?
And, like, for a different gacha, it would not be, like, an insane amount of, like, production or whatever, just because, like, FGO is fairly limited in its scope. Sure. However, it's FGO.
Yeah.
Like, there's some things that it does with, like, just, like, the amount of effects and shit going on where I'm like, I don't think FGO is capable of handling this. And based on how it ran on my phone, it's not. My phone was current when Lost Belt 7 came out.
Oops.
Yeah, that's the thing. Think about this is a 2-year-old event.
Yeah, it's a 2-year-old game. It should be able to run just fine on a Pixel 6 Pro. No, it is not.
You just get the boss fight that has more particle effects than there are stars in the sky, and your phone goes, I'm sorry, dude, I can't do this for you. You better finish this fast. I don't know how long I can hold out. And I just go, you're just like my servants, Google Pixel 6 Pro.
We gotta get this over with quickly, otherwise the sustained game is not possible.
My phone just starts running a boss fight at 10 frames a second and deploys Mold Camelot.
Just watching that Noble Phantasm bar on the other side of the screen just tick up, and you're just like, oh no, come on. Yeah.
Well, I'll just put this down for now.
Oh, God.
Getting called up by my fucking phone provider like, hey, dude, are you mining Bitcoin on this thing? What's going on?
What the fuck is going on? Are you okay? Is there not anything better you could be doing right now? No.
Oh, and the screen appears to have melted. All right.
Look, my phone's got a pillow. It's so tired now. Oh, God. Okay, I think we're done now. Can we go to the news?
Yes.
Okay.
Boss of Lost Belt 7, like, here's my noble phantasm. I turn your phone battery into spicy ravioli.
My noble phantasm is get your phone banned from flight.
Saturn's like, wow, this noble phantasm is so powerful. I can practically feel it while their hands are getting burnt. Your phone case is melting off.
Yeah, this Lost Belt's got smell-o-vision now. It's making my whole room smell like ozone and burning plastic.
Oh, God. Okay, get us to the news, Ben.
Okay. Speaking of Sonic, the star of the Sonic movie says he could yet return for Sonic 4.
This is Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey is saying that Jim Carrey, the man who notoriously hates doing sequels, is like, I'll do 4 Robotniks.
You know, I'm sure they pay him a lot of money, and that's like an easy job, right? Like, you show up, you goof off for like a couple of hours, and you're done. Like, that's easy.
Apparently, he did do Sonic 3 for the money because there's an interview. He's like, I bought a bunch of shit, and I needed that Sonic cash to pay for it.
Oh, he's just like me for real.
Which I think this is the funniest thing. This is a man who famously retired from acting and said, yeah, I'd come back for like the golden role or whatever, and then comes back for Sonic 3.
Yeah.
So Saturn, they printed the Sonic script on gold leaf to give to Jim Carrey. That's a real thing that happened.
That's so funny.
Spectacular.
Which, yeah, Sonic 4 has been confirmed.
Oh yeah, of course. Those movies print money. That's easy. Yeah.
Those movies. This might be the only situation in which a video game adaptation or a movie adaptation of a video game is in fact wildly and consistently more successful than the video game itself.
It's true, and it's funny because like these movies do not do well in Japan.
No,
I bet not.
I'm not surprised one bit.
Which also makes sense because Sonic itself doesn't really do that well in Japan. But they're just so huge everywhere else. Like they devoured fucking Mufasa.
Well, that's not hard. That movie was slop. Like who could possibly care about a Mufasa prequel?
Yeah, but there's a 6-letter name on that movie. And it doesn't matter if it's slop. It's supposed to make $1 bazillion.
Oh,
and that 6-letter name? That's right. It's Mufasa.
That's fucked up. Yeah.
I wonder how weird it must be to be like a creative making something in like a country that is not very popular with anyone who speaks your language, but is extraordinarily popular overseas.
Right?
Like I
guess that's what it means. That's what it feels like to make Metroid games.
Yeah.
I also feel like that must be a little bit of what Ryukishi has, right? Because like people in Japan definitely play those games.
Yeah.
But also I feel like the English-speaking fandom for those games is like infinitely louder.
I think so. That would make sense.
I think that game's had a significantly larger tail with English-speaking audience specifically.
Sure.
Whereas I feel like it was like a very popular thing to consume contemporarily when it came out, but has been continued to be consumed ongoing by like English-speaking audiences.
Yeah, I guess that's like I mean, I don't know how Japanese PC game releases work or any of that shit, so that's me, explaining myself. But I feel like the Steam is really good for that, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You can just put that shit on a wish list and be like, I'll play this someday. And then one day you get a notification that it's like, 70% off. You're like, oh, today's the day, right? Like,
yeah, that's true.
Steam is just really good for, I don't know how PC game sales work in Japan. I know that Steam is a thing, but it's not as much of a thing
I don't know how current Umineko releases, what its current release is on PC or who owns the rights to what over there, but I know the original release for it was Comiket.
Yeah,
like they literally sold CDs at Comiket.
Yeah, I mean, just the super old-fashioned way. You bought your CD at Comiket, right? And that's how you distributed the game. And like these days, it's on Switch and it's on like PlayStation 3. It had a PS3 release, right?
I have literally breaking news.
Yes.
Herman Holst has stepped down.
Yay!
Literally, this post is from 20 minutes ago.
Hooray! We're free!
We killed it!
Apparently, Hiroki Totoki has been elevated to the top CEO post, taking the reins of Sony Interactive Entertainment.
It's gotta be better.
Hiroki Totoki.
I think he was currently, he's been the active, the CEO of Sony Japan or whatever for the last year or two.
Yeah.
But he's now the only CEO of PlayStation, basically.
Okay, good.
Okay, now take him to the hole.
That's right. We have to whatever fucking cannon we shot Jim Ryan out of, can we also shoot Herman Holst out of, please?
I think Jim Ryan and Herman Holst are both going to be found mysteriously dead in a small province in Saudi Arabia or something, and no one's going to ask enough questions for anyone to feel comfortable about it.
Yeah. It's just the fucking the I don't even know how to describe it. The catastrophe that those two have wreaked upon Sony is like an all-timer. Like their competitors dream of the kind of damage that those two have done to Sony, right?
Right?
It's crazy.
It's insane. How, because we heard, that news report, maybe it's in the news right now, I don't know, but that news report about a canceled God of War live service game?
Yeah, that's in here.
That's in there? Well, we can talk about it now.
Yeah.
Because the news about a fucking, who greenlights a God of War live service game? Are you fucking kidding?
The same
God
studio...
of War, that famous studio that's that famous series that's known for being a cool single player thing that you just play once and it stays in your brain forever for any different reason, depending on which one you started with, right? God of War, that's gonna be a live service game now. You're fucking insane.
It's the same studio that was Horizon MMO.
Horizon MMO. Horizon MMO I'd probably play sooner than a God of War MMO. Mostly because I actually think Horizon would be better served as an MMO, because it's got a big interesting world, but it's all stuck behind Aloy's perspective. But God of War and
God of War is Kratos.
It's just Kratos. Exactly.
It doesn't work if it's not Kratos' perspective.
Right. It's not the same thing. The only way you could get away with that is what's his brat's name in fucking Ragnarok? Atreus, I think. Yeah.
I almost just said a fucking God of War spoiler, just completely unbid. I'm like, wait, no, that's not the name that he has at the beginning of the game. Shit.
I don't care about God of War spoilers.
Some people might, so I'll be courteous. It is very late in a 50-hour game, so I'll be kind.
That's very nice of you. But no, if you were no, that kid is the protagonist of the next God of War game. Okay, fine. That sort of makes sense.
Right.
But an online live service God of War game. Are you on crack? What would you even... Never mind. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm not doing this to myself. It's fucking stupid, and Herman Holst deserves to be fucking shot into the sun.
These questions are probably why that game was canceled.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is the purpose of the video game? Truly.
Well, money.
Yeah. It's... money being lost, totally. That is the purpose of the video game, is to lose just buckets and buckets of Sony's cash, right? That's it. Who could possibly care? It is what are we doing? It's the fact that they've I don't even think they've started work on Horizon 3 because they're too busy with live service horse shit, right? What are we doing? You really you're gonna go that long, and I don't really even care about Horizon that much anymore, which is the problem, because I realized oh hey, this game ended on a huge cliffhanger
Right.
Oh, we're not going to get another one for 7 more years? Well, I'm checked out. Okay.
Yeah, that's almost like that's like the problem with this entire thing. It's like, dog, that game, you're lucky people remember that game at all. Why are you pushing it?
Extremely lucky that people, like, there is, like, even any kind of a fandom considering its extremely bad luck release schedule, right?
You could get away with this if you're Nier Automata, but I have bad news.
You are not Nier Automata. Like, no, I'm sorry. It's fucking insane. They're like, no, we're not going to put out the third. That game ended on, like, an insane cliffhanger. But we're not going to put out the conclusion to it for, like, 6 years.
Time to work on our Lego game.
Time to work on this Lego game that nobody wants and sold like shit. Great. That's a great time to play video games, folks.
Yep.
Anyway. Hey, guess what? It's a great time to play video games. Transformers Reactivate canceled. The splash damage scales down and refocuses on other projects.
Hold on. So we don't have a soundboard in here, but I'll just do my best.
Yeah, we need the fucking Mario Sunshine clown failure noise.
Just imagine that right now.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't mean to gloat over this because, like, I wanted this to come out, but I knew it wasn't going to.
It wasn't going to come out. It wasn't
which is
gonna come
deeply
out.
tragic. It is all. I think if there's only one good thing to come of it, the absolute complete failure of Concord to do literally anything has, I think, scared the entire industry off of developing new live service games for $200 or $300 or $400 million.
Yeah.
This is the scene in the movie where we fire everything we have at Concord and we finally slay the beast, and in the aftermath of the explosion we realize that, like, our young ward has taken a piece of rebar through the chest.
I'm just so sad. Like, Reactivate was in my brain. It's just like, listen, there's the smallest chance that it could be good. But there's still a chance.
It could be good. It could have been good.
I could have had a Warframe-like Transformers game where I just get to play a Starscream and zip around a fucking battlefield and fight big robots. Like, that sounds cool.
We could have had the equivalent of a 76 where it's just a really good time waster.
Just a great way to putz.
It's what that one Nintendo executive said, right? Mm-hmm. A delayed game can eventually be good. A rushed game can't ever be good. And a canceled game can't ever be anything.
That's right.
Yeah.
It can't ever be anything, and I'm so fucked up over the fact that they put out toys for this thing.
That's the thing that fucks me over a lot, is that, like, there's toys.
There are toys for Reactivate designs. You can buy them.
That's all Hasbro wanted out of it. That's just all Hasbro wanted out of it. They're like, well, I mean, honestly, it'll cost us another $10, $15, $20 million to fucking get a version 1.0 of this game out that no one's gonna fucking play. We already have the toys, so fuck it.
Yeah, like, we got the money off of it.
This all essentially happened because Paramount couldn't market Transformers 1, a really good movie, for fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is directly tied to that first extremely bad trailer for Transformers 1.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, those two things are connected. And because, like, obviously what happens is that Transformers 1 gets a really bad trailer, like, to the point that even I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna see this. Puts out this terrible trailer that ends up, first impressions are literally everything. So nobody goes and sees Transformers 1. So then Hasbro gets gun shy about doing more Transformers shit. So then they call Reactivate Studio, like, hey, we're probably gonna pull funding. And now it's like, well, now there's no fucking money to make Transformers Reactivate. And so this is all John Hasbro's fault, is what I'm saying. Like most things are. Most bad things in my life are Hasbro's fault, actually.
John Hasbro, you son of a bitch.
You fucking shit. So yeah,
It's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking. I'm just sad. I just want a good Transformers something.
I still think
her Spark ended up being bad. One was really good, but we're never gonna get another one.
I keep thinking about our reaction to that first trailer, where we're both like, we're all just trying to figure out what the fuck this is, and we're kind of bored because the rest of the show has been bad, and then we see fucking Transformers, and like it recontextualizes the entire trailer.
And it's just like, oh, maybe something good will happen. Why the fuck would anything nice ever happen ever?
No.
Right?
That's true.
So, it's fine. I'll just cry. I just want a good Transformers video again. It's been so long since Transformers Devastation.
I know.
Oh my god. It's been almost 10 years since Transformers Devastation.
We can't even get anything worthwhile.
No.
We got one good movie that sold like shit, so we're never gonna get another one.
Mm-hmm.
Great. They're gonna call Michael Bay back and be like, hey, can you make more slop? And then I'll just have to walk into the ocean.
Yeah.
I just got here from like 10 years ago. At least we still got More Than Meets the Eye. Huh? Hold on. What? Well, I'm getting a notification on my.
Oh
no.
Listen, Skybound comics are good though. So if you want Transformers content, you can read the Skybound comics.
Yeah, it's not the same.
All I want is Star Trek, but with robots, which I guess is why I play Warframe.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Anyway, if you wish that there was more Star Trek, but with robots in your life, have you considered Warframe?
Have you considered reading More Than Meets the Eye?
Again?
Oh, you've already read More Than Meets the Eye? Do it again. Read it again. That's all
Have you
got.
considered reading More Than Meets the Eye while playing Warframe?
Then, if you do that, you would essentially get the Transformers Reactivate experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a genius.
There you go.
You're welcome. See, Transformers Reactivate can exist in our minds and in our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
But not on our computers.
No, never. Next, Anime Life Sim makes waves in the PlayStation Store as it appears to be an Animal Crossing New Horizons clone.
Oh yeah, I saw this.
Emphasis on clone, very shameless.
Okay,
yeah.
so like Pal World was some gray area, right?
They're
World
Pokemon, but it's not a Pokemon game.
Right? Like it's like, okay, well yeah, they do look a lot like Pokemon, but like it's not like there's the actual Pikachu there. Like, yeah, this thing kind of looks a lot like Luxray, but like
I think, if I'm not mistaken, even Nintendo's lawsuit or whatever they're filing wasn't even based on shit like that. It was based on there's evidence that they literally directly copied the catch rate formulas from the game.
Right. But this thing, that's just Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
That's
it is like the exact rendering style. The characters are
yeah.
very clearly the same.
Yeah.
It's
It's audacious.
yeah, it's very bold.
This article is a few weeks old, and I just needed to check. The game is still on the PlayStation Store.
Oh, okay. Is it free?
So, it's not out yet, but there's a slot for it on the store. You can wishlist it.
Here's the thing, and this is why I think nothing will happen to it. Have you seen how many fucking obvious knockoffs are on the Nintendo Switch store?
Oh, is that a thing?
Oh, yes.
Wow. Is it this bad?
Yes.
Okay.
You basically can't make a game without someone putting like the lowest effort fucking like direct knockoff of your game on the Nintendo Switch store. It doesn't matter if you're Nintendo or a different publisher, or especially if you're an indie.
Yeah.
You simply, like, if you were like, I want to play this game, even if it's not on Switch, someone will have made a very similarly looking, similarly titled everything and put it out on the Switch store.
Yeah. The Switch store, like, it's actually really crazy how bad the, like, essentially plagiarism is on the Switch store right now. Like, the Switch store is kind of a slop factory these days, which is fucking crazy considering it used to be not that.
Yeah.
There was a while where I was really surprised that they let Binding of Isaac on the Switch store. But then I looked at the rest of the Switch store and I realized, oh, they actually just don't care anymore.
No, they just don't care anymore because they have so many Like, they're making so much money off the Switch, fucking hand over fist, that they don't care anymore. Like, it's just another version of Steam. Like, you can put any slop. I guess you can't put, like, Hentai Hitler 5 on the Switch, but other than that, you can put whatever the fuck you want on the Switch, right? Like, so it's just like Steam at this point.
Yeah. I am looking at screenshots of Anime Life Sim, and I am realizing on some of these how obviously AI generated some of these textures are.
That's some of the screenshots are very clearly AI because the character models differ wildly. But I wouldn't be surprised if some of these were like actual screenshots from the build.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised
look at this poor creature's wonderfully asymmetrical face texture.
Oh no!
Yeah.
It's like her eye is trying to escape.
Yeah, it's not great.
Oh,
and then also, like, if you look at other things in the scenery, it's like the fucking doormat that's kind of over in the corner or whatever. It's like, oh man, you guys really didn't put in any effort at all. Also, fucking the roof look. Do we know if this game is real? Like, is it only screenshots?
Yeah, no, I'm actually looking at this. And I actually wonder if this is just a scam game that somehow got onto Sony's store.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
if it doesn't actually exist, right?
Yeah, it's got a release date of next year, but that could mean anything. Like,
right? No,
I don't know. I don't know what the requirements are to get your thing on the PlayStation Store. Like, do you have to have a build?
I doubt it.
I don't think so, because like you remember that scam game that was like. The creator kept suggesting it was tied to Silent Hills, but it never was. Do you remember that?
I do not remember that.
Oh my god, that's like a whole thing. I'd have to like link it later. Hold on. Scam game, not Silent Hills. Oh yeah, Blue Box Games. That's what it's called.
Oh yeah.
There was a whole. What was that? What was that video game?
Abandoned. It was literally called Abandoned.
Okay, it was literally called Abandoned, right? And that was like it had a sizzle trailer. It didn't show any gameplay, obviously, because it wasn't real. But it had like a sizzle trailer at a fucking State of Play, and it never materialized. And like the creator would go on Twitter and pretend to be like connected to Hideo Kojima and stuff, so everyone's like, oh, so is this like maybe Silent Hills, like, stealth drop? No. It was all just like a weird scam, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, I would totally buy that this is also that, the more and more I look at these screenshots, right?
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, I don't know. This might just be like a scam video game.
Either way, the audacity is very funny.
It is very funny. It is a scam video game, almost certainly, but I think it's funny when people scam Nintendo, so it's fine. I
think people should scam Nintendo more.
Yeah, I agree. That's a victimless crime, 100%, right? Like, yeah, it's cool.
Next, Sony patents include idea to lower input lag by using AI to predict which buttons you'll press next.
I think this news article might be I think this news article might be being made irrelevant in real time by the imminent collapse of the AI bubble.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is just somebody told us to do a patent that involved AI, and we came up with this. Like it's a nothing burger.
Because that's basically how patent trolling works, though, where it's like you think of things that someone might come up with, and you go, well, I'll patent the idea of it so that when someone smarter than me actually does it, I can shake them down for money.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I think that's the actual thing that's going on with Nintendo and Pal World, is that Nintendo is claiming they own some patent that they filed the same like month that Pal World came out. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And they're like trying to be like, no, they're totally ripping us off, you guys, because they stole our patent, right? Mm-hmm. It's like very transparent. It's kind of like that.
I enjoy that with regards to our breaking news in this episode, looking at BlueSky and seeing Dr. Agroth and Gigaboots just posting an image that's of someone holding the Death Note, but the name has been crossed out and replaced with the Big Think Dimension logo.
Great. This is patent trolling.
It's just a funny idea to me of like, the idea that AI will predict what buttons I'll press next.
Okay, so what happens when I don't press that button, jackass? Does that make it worse? That sounds awful.
Are you gonna have me have rollback netcode in my single player offline game, you psychopath?
Yeah, exactly. No.
Hey, newsflash, I don't want my video game to play the video game for me.
No, that's why I press the buttons. Otherwise, I would watch an LP.
This is something an AI bro would suggest as a benefit of AI, though.
Oh yeah, totally. Like a problem to solve that didn't exist. Yeah.
Like in the future, the game will know what button you're gonna press. So you don't even have to press the buttons. That's playing the game.
When I run my bot in FGO, I had to configure that bot's parameters myself.
That's right.
For it to run correctly.
By hand.
Yeah.
It's not allowed to make any decisions except for arbitrarily picking which spam cards it's going to throw out when I tell it to do Noble Phantasm, and I don't care what the other two moves are because they don't matter because everything will be dead.
A tool-assisted speedrun was still, all those inputs were still done by a person.
Exactly. You still have to have the person tell the robot to do these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's still a form of interacting with the game. AI-generated fucking predicting which button you're gonna press next is essentially let's just let the video game play itself.
Okay, well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have our game that's AI-generated in real time. We're gonna use AI to predict the buttons you're gonna press.
Mm-hmm.
So, you won't even have to play the game.
That's right. You can just watch it happen.
You can just watch Minecraft dissolve into shapes.
I was thinking about that specific demo that was like we made the thing that is just it generates Minecraft based on Minecraft footage, and how it's like, look, you can make an entire video game just play itself with AI, like just out of nothing with AI, and it's like, well, you're recreating like fragments of memories of YouTube footage, and also because that's all you're doing, it means that none of these things actually have like real physics interactions, and also you can't store any kind of data.
Yeah.
So like you can't build anything, and the instant something leaves your eye line, it's gone forever, and you can't like manage an inventory or stats or anything. And so it's not really a video game now.
No, it's I keep thinking the horror of the Minecraft, of the AI generated Minecraft video, where someone is digging, they look down and dig, and then the game thinks they're digging through a cave now, so they just re-emerge like on flat ground again.
Yeah.
It's like the kind of thing you'd see in a fucked up movie.
But it's just that it's like the computer hallucinating what comes next. Like there's no context, right? It's
it's like I don't need a computer to do that for me. I do that every night when I go to sleep. Like my head's on the pillow a little weird.
Next, the creator of Retro FPS Fortune's Run is going to prison for 3 years.
This is an interesting story. So, there was more than one developer on that game originally, and then at some point the other developer left, and it was just the one person. And then they were like, hey guys, this is my last update for the foreseeable future, because here's the thing. I was not a very good person and did not leave a particularly good life in the years leading up to me developing this game. And I have been actively in court for most of this game's development, and I have just been given my sentencing.
Yeah, 3-year sentence.
Listen, I can grasp the idea of wanting to change your life.
Sure.
And finding something new that you can funnel your energy into. It was probably poor planning on your part to start making a game while the trial for your violent crime is still ongoing.
Well, wait, was it a violent crime? Do we
Yes.
know what the...
I don't think they say what the specific crime was, but they do imply they lived a violent life before the fact.
Yeah, here's a quote from the dev. I have finally been found guilty and sentenced, and I'm going away next month. It's a shame, but it's the consequences of my actions. I was a very violent person, and I hurt a lot of people in my life. Unfortunately, the sentence isn't going to help with all that at all, but I guess we all know that.
Damn.
They don't specify
crazy.
what they did, but they do clarify that it was not sexual in nature.
Okay.
And they also confirmed that their co-dev was not related to the crime at all.
Okay.
And their reason for dropping out was not in relation to the crime. It was due to an unrelated hospitalization they went through.
Okay.
All this to say, I think this might be the funniest time to buy an early access game. That developer is not going to see a nickel of that for 3 years, but imagine the payout when they finally get out of prison.
They finally get out of prison. Yeah, they have money.
They said, when they get out of prison, there's a chance they'll keep working on Fortune's Run.
I mean, what else are they gonna do? You know what? I support them. They are going to serve their time, and you know what? I will purchase Fortune's Run in early access.
It reminds me.
I wish they hadn't specified what the nature of the crime was, though, because I wanted to choose to believe they were like that one Taylor Swift Twitter that disappeared for several years because they refused to join the IDF and got thrown in Israeli prison.
Saturday, I was just about to, because that's exactly what I thought of when I read this article. It's like,
that's such a shame, when this originally got announced, I saw, I'm like, oh fuck, that looks sick, and I just never picked it up. And I'm like, huh. And literally before this announced, the day before this was announced, I'm like, I wonder whatever happened to that game, because that seemed pretty cool, but it kind of, I haven't really heard much about it, and then bam.
Yeah.
So funny.
Well, hey, this will help with sales.
Mm-hmm.
This is certainly going to get people talking about the game. So, maybe they'll come out to a fat stack of cash.
I can only hope.
We can only hope.
It would also be very fun if this was a thing where, I'm going to entrust the development of this game to, a trusted community, modder or something like that, while I'm in jail. And, coming back out and seeing and being surprised by what the game has been involved in. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anything like that's happening, but I think it could be cool if something like that did happen.
Yeah.
It would be funny. It'd be cool if you could announce your game, if someone else picked the slack of the game, and they could announce it with, yeah, this game was worked on by a murderer.
Well, I don't think you're going to jail for 3 years.
You're not going to 3 years for murder. You might hit somebody with your car, but not kill them.
You would have to you would have to be very rich and very white.
How? I'm wondering what violent crime gets you sent for 3 years.
They said they hurt a lot of people, but maybe.
Well, that's a vague kind of. That's very vague.
That might just be that might just be you got in a lot of bar fights or something.
Yeah, exactly. Because after a certain point, assault usually gets you 5. It could just be. I wonder if he did hit somebody with his car.
The thing is, it would have to be something like that, because it couldn't be something like armed robbery or whatever, because they don't let you live a civilian life while you wait for sentencing. Yeah. You're in jail.
Yeah, there was 5 years of legal proceeding.
Ooh,
5 years of legal proceedings.
5 years of legal proceedings, and then a 3-year sentence?
That makes me think that's probably something civil, he got in a fight and broke someone's nose or something, and they sued over it.
Yeah. Well, in that case, because civil proceedings don't usually result in jail time.
Yeah.
Or I guess I should say, it was an assault, but one that was, documented.
A premeditated assault.
Right.
It's the kind of thing where it's they will let you go back and live your normal life while you do the trial.
Yeah.
But it's still a violent crime, right?
Right.
But I also have no idea.
Who knows? It could be anything. It could even be a boat. It could be sea crimes. We have no idea.
They could have stolen a Snickers bar and somehow got 3 years for that.
Yeah, this could be a fucking My Cousin Vinny situation.
That It could also be. I actually was extremely curious. I wanted to Google stuff that could get you a 3-year crime. It could also just be like a felony firearms possession charge, illegal firearms possession charge. That's the kind of thing that can get you that can get you a 3-year sentence and is technically violence adjacent because you owned an unregistered firearm and you got in trouble for it, right? So
maybe
any number,
anything,
number of things. Yes.
Now that they've been sentenced, anyone could dig up this information if they wanted to.
You probably could look it up. You probably could FOIA it, but anyways.
Anyway, next, Nintendo Switch 2 has finally been announced.
It's a very funny thing to follow up from that.
Hey, I just take them as they come in, okay? This is what happened.
No. I called that one super. Literally,
you did.
The night before that news came out, we were recording the second part of the Gorgies, and I was like, "Listen, they gotta call it the Switch 2. If you call it anything else, you're screwed." And granted, my idea was cuter because I said they should call it the Switch 2 Roman numerals and then have the Roman numerals be the Joy-Cons. They didn't do that. They just used the 2.
Yeah. But the design actually looks really good. It's a lot bigger.
It's a lot bigger. It's a lot sleeker.
The controller, the Joy-Cons are using magnets to lock in place now instead of the latches.
I don't know how I feel about that one, Chief.
I feel like the actual the connection port is a lot smaller in real life than the video made it look.
Yeah.
I don't think you're in worry of those snapping.
I hope not.
Because
that just seems like a really obvious failure point.
Well,
right?
you think about like SNES cartridges had the exact same thing. They had a thin metal, a thin strip connecting.
But you weren't carrying that shit around.
Yeah, but I mean, you still were bumping those cartridges around, and the interior they're protected on both sides by they're inset into the console. They're not sticking out at all.
I don't know.
I still like it.
I don't like it. It just seems because carrying an SNES cartridge in your bag to go to your friend's house for one night is not the same as carrying that shit. That's a portable console. I don't know. It just seems a really obvious failure point.
If that plug was on the controllers, I wouldn't care. Because the controllers are significantly easier and less expensive to replace.
Yeah. The problem is that the any part is on the console when it should be the other way around, right? The outie part should be on the console. You click those in. Right?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's such an easy failure point that I think, design-wise, Nintendo, it makes very sturdy consoles. It's the meme is that Nintendo consoles are indestructible. I think it'll be fine.
I don't know. Here's the thing. The Switch had stick drift, so I don't believe in them being indestructible.
No,
right?
They never fixed that Joy-Con drift problem, literally ever.
And that's just because it is a structural problem because they designed it bad, which does not inspire confidence.
Yeah.
Right.
So, that's my only thing. Everything else I think looks great. That's my one little quibble. I feel like that is something that in 2.5 years, we're going to get the Switch 2 OLED. And it's going to be, we fixed the connection point for the Joy-Cons. You know what I mean? That's going to be part of the design document.
Yeah, well, in my case, my Joy-Cons never leave my Switch anyway, because it's pretty much always docked, so, I don't care.
Yeah, but the thing is, my Joy-Cons leave my Switch a lot, because I just, sometimes I don't want to use the Pro Controller, or I didn't have a Pro Controller for a while. And I care because those things suck ass.
Yeah.
they're dog shit.
Yeah, I care a lot because I tried to play Breath of the Wild on a flight once, and I kept walking off a cliff. No.
the Joy-Cons being bigger and their design being a little bit more manageable to use just a single Joy-Con.
Yeah, that's a big improvement.
It helps a lot too. Yeah.
Also, I've also had instances though where it's I've had fucking Switch Pro controllers that get stick drift eventually too.
Really?
Oh yeah, I have one of those extremely pretty Xenoblade 2 ones.
Mm-hmm.
That thing is not usable anymore.
Wow, that's
like I want to find a way to peel the faceplate off and put it on a new one that works because that shit is just like unusable.
That's surprising. I've never heard of the Pro controllers getting that because I've had to replace my Joy-Cons because they were unusable after a while. But my Pro controller, I've had that for how long has the Switch been out? 6-7 years?
Too long.
Yeah, I've had that since I got the console and it's worked fine for me. I'm surprised. I've never heard that.
Oh, this is going to be the 8th year, I think.
Wow.
Christ alive.
Yes, because it's March 2017, so this is the 8th year.
The little console that could.
The only thing we've seen so far, and they're gonna do one in February. They're gonna do a direct, I think.
Yeah.
We've only seen Mario Kart 9.
Yeah.
It's got like 19 racers in it.
Cute. That's fun.
It's got a redesigned Donkey Kong.
Yeah, he looks more movie-ish.
I've seen people suggesting that this might be a 24-player race.
Yeah.
Because of how many cars are on the screen, which is cool.
People have also suggested that the Donkey Kong in that is Donkey Kong Jr. from the Super Mario Kart on the SNES.
Yeah,
that's cute. I've also seen I saw some people doing like analysis of the footage for like graphics thing. They're like, yeah, there's actually quite a lot of like fairly intensive graphical things happening here that suggests that like the game itself is probably very highly optimized and the hardware is very optimized for what it's doing, because it's like oh yeah, these textures are really high resolution. There's rendering pipelines happening that are like would be like PS4 Pro kind of required minimum to be able to pull off cleanly, and the game's clearly running at 60 frames a second.
Nice.
So I'm excited. I'm here's the thing. I'm a mark in this. I will criticize Nintendo. I am much like Dan is for Sony. There's no amount of bad things I can say about Nintendo that will reasonably stop me from getting one of these day one.
Oh yeah, no. I'm definitely getting a day one Switch too, because I can finally play Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah, that's like literally the reason.
I also really appreciate that the Switch 2 now has a functional back support instead of like a little nub that you just kind of plop out. It actually has like a real stand on it.
Yeah.
I have contempt for the bad stand.
The bad stand is a source
of
constant consternation. It's a terrible, shitty little stand. How are you supposed to play that thing propped up on a bed? You can't.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with the news of that when it comes out. Apparently they're doing a bunch of events across the world where you can get your hands on it early.
Yeah, unfortunately I live too much in the deep south to get one of those, so
yeah, and those are like in April, and it's all like fucking like New York and Toronto and San Fran and all that shit.
The events go up until June. So July release for the console,
which would track because I think we've been hearing people suggest it'll be a June-July release for the last couple of months now.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, the direct is April 2nd for the Switch 2.
Yeah.
So we'll see all the games coming out for that then.
Exciting.
We'll just sandwich these news articles here. We talked about the Sony cancels 2 more PlayStation projects in broader retreat.
Sure.
You know,
as you do.
They had Bluepoint working on some dog shit that nobody gives a fuck about instead of remastering Bloodborne. They're stupid.
They're so fucking stupid.
You know what? I'm surprised Sony learned something from Concord.
I mean, you almost don't have a choice but to learn something from like a game that literally never made any money ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you really don't have the option but to learn something, because otherwise, again, some guy from Saudi Arabia is going to show up at your fucking house. You know what I mean?
They will not find you.
They will or they will find you in multiple trash bags. You know what I mean? Like
the police will find you.
Yeah.
And they will not do enough investigation to satisfy your family, but everyone will understand that it's all you're getting.
The cop that found you is gonna be driving a Lambo, right? Like,
As he tells the press that you died from natural causes.
He died from all of his body parts exploded off his body disease.
You're going to get a visit from someone, and they are going to give you a choice. And the choice is, in one hand there's a gun, and in the other is the keys to a Lamborghini.
Cop just at a press conference like, well, yes, we did find his body in multiple pieces, but as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing more natural than dying when your body has been separated into multiple pieces, which is why we put him down for natural causes.
That's true. Anybody would die from that, so that makes it natural, right?
It's a bit from one of those old point and click and horror games where they were like, or it's like what was it?
Fucking Harvester.
Yeah, he goes to the doctor, and the doctor's like, I think he died of natural causes. And the guy's like, what?
I think that is literally a joke from Harvester.
Yeah, and he's like, what do you mean? And the doctor's like, can't live without a brain and spine. That's natural.
Harvester and Harvester 2 are two of the most insane video games.
Oh my god.
So fucking funny.
What if your protagonist was your dad's friend from college? In a fucking H.R. Giger nightmare world.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think Harvester 2 is, what if that guy was having a psychotic break the entire time and none of this shit was, like, ever happened or had any bearing on anything? And he was just the craziest man who ever lived. Mm-hmm. Even more so than Shar Aznavour.
God, I love video games. Sandwich between, the two slices of bread in this Sony sandwich are, Balatro passes 5 million copies sold.
Yay!
Hey, it's just that easy.
Funny. It's so funny. Like, if 5 million copies sold it, how much is that game on phones?
It's like, what, $3?
$10.
$10. Jeez.
It's nothing.
So that's 50 million. Oh no, that's $15.
Oh, really?
Wow.
That's a $15 video game. We're talking about, like, in raw revenue, assuming it, before any platform fees or whatever, we're talking a raw revenue of, like, fucking $75 million?
Wow. Good for him. God damn. Like,
it's probably, I don't know what his deal is with PlayStack, because PlayStack is the publisher, so I imagine they're getting a lot of the money.
They're probably getting a cut too, but I mean,
yeah.
You can even a small cut. If the guy who made the game is still only getting like a minimal cut, that's still a minimal cut of like a pretty simple game, and that's a big chunk of cash, right?
Yeah.
If he's getting 10%, that's still $7.5 million.
Exactly. My man's he's putting up like Toby Fox numbers, you know?
Yeah.
Good for him.
It's just that easy.
It's that fucking easy. You don't need to spend $400 million on a game nobody wants and has ever asked for ever. You just make like an addictive roguelike little single player thingy and you sell it for $15 and watch the easy cash roll in.
Or even more simply than that, it turns out that the secret to selling a video game all along has been making a video game that people like to play.
And is affordable. Fucking imagine that.
Imagine
that.
Hey, Sony, just imagine, if you can, a number of dollars that it costs to develop Balatro. I'll wait. Nope, that's too much. No, that's also still too much. You need to drop a couple digits off that cost me.
Saw a zero off that number.
Yes,
saw 5 zeros off that number.
Yes. And like, it turns out if you just make a game people want to play and then sell it at a reasonable cost, people will buy it.
No, but GTA 6 might cost $100.
Oh my god.
If you told
me, I hope it does.
If you told me that it cost $150,000 to develop Balatro, first I would tell you that you're crazy. That probably can't be true. But second, I would say, even if that is true and the game costs $150,000 to make, it earned $75 million.
Yes!
The return rate cannot be argued with.
Insane. Oh. But
it turns out if you make a game that's cheap and good, you'll make money.
You'll make your money. It's that simple.
There's this thing called fast food, Sony.
And we actually have a little bit of this even in the AAA space, where you see like the comparisons between like PlayStation's earnings and Nintendo's earnings, where it's like PlayStation does have more revenue per year than Nintendo, period.
Yeah.
However, its profit margin is so much less.
Oh, it's so
because
much
even though
smaller.
Nintendo is earning less revenue, it's also spending way less to make its games.
Absolutely.
So it's generating a larger proportion of profit.
Guess what? They get to go home with more money than they came in with.
That's all that matters. Like,
If a
that's all
Nintendo
that
game,
matters.
unlike Sony, if a Nintendo game comes out and sells like dog shit, it is not a financial crisis for that company that makes them have to fire all their executives.
Nintendo doesn't have to shutter intelligence systems because, like, a Fire Emblem didn't sell.
Right.
It is not mathematically possible for Nintendo to produce Concord.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there's no
I
universe
don't
where
even
it's
think Tears of the Kingdom cost $400 million to develop. I'll be perfectly honest with you.
Probably
shocked
not.
if Tears of the Kingdom cost $100
Considering
million.
most, like, 80% of that game is just Breath of the Wild again.
Yeah, they just used all that shit and then like kind of screwed with the map a little bit and kind of reorganized things.
Hey, Sony, do you want to know why all the Yakuza games sell so well? Why they make so much profit? It's because they've been using the same assets since the PS2.
And instead of wasting a bunch of time and effort making a bunch of like pretty park benches that no one's going to look at for more than half of a second, they can spend time making the video game fun to play and enjoyable to experience. Crazy.
God.
It's
so
almost
fucking
like we've known the answer all along.
It's almost like we figured this shit out in 1996.
Fuck me. But I hope Grand Theft Auto 6 costs $100.
Oh, I hope they kneecap that game by charging $100 for it.
I think it would be so fun. Not because I think that if Grand Theft Auto 6 costs $100, I think it'll sell, right? I don't think it would sell. I don't think it would sell as much. I don't think it would sell as much as if it cost $60. But I think it would sell, and I think it would do well. But the funnier part is what would come next, which is other dumbass publishers thinking they can get away with $100 games, right?
Yeah.
And then we can really get this industry collapse going.
Here's the thing. $100 Grand Theft Auto 6 will sell 5 million copies. And Rockstar will immediately go bankrupt.
Exactly.
100%.
Hell, even $70 Grand Theft Auto 6 comparatively would sell like 20 million copies.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's the $100 price point. Nobody's gonna pay $100 for a video game that is not a special edition, right?
Right.
The only reason I paid $100 for Starfield is because it gave like a 10-day early access, and I knew that my September was going to be busy playing better games.
Yeah, no,
I'm stupid. It's the first and last time I'll ever do that.
I bought the special edition to play that game 10 days early. That was a bad idea.
Yeah,
it was a mistake.
Turns out you shouldn't spend $100 on a video game ever.
I'll own up to that mistake.
Sure.
I'll take that L for sure.
Yeah, I made the mistake of assuming that Starfield, like every other Bethesda game, would have a tail at all, or be something I had any interest in revisiting for literally any reason.
I think it's like a madness mantra for us now, but really, all it had to do was be as good as Fallout 4.
Yeah, all it had to do, which is insane.
It's not a high bar to clear. It is in fact extremely easy to be as good as Fallout 4.
I was excited for it to be as good as Fallout 4. Not even like, if it's as good as Fallout 4, that'll be all right. It's like, no.
I was stoked for it to be Fallout 4 too, right?
This is the level it needs to, it is what I want it to be at.
You could make a jank-ass Unity tactical shooter RPG with you and 9 of your underpaid Eastern European friends, and conceivably make a game that is as good as Fallout 4. It is not a high bar to clear. And yet... Okay, so here's the question.
GTA 6 comes out, $100.
Uh-huh.
Sells less than half of what it would have sold at 70 or 60.
Correct.
Rockstar manages to scrape by.
Sure.
What is the studio that next puts out the $100 game?
Activision.
I'm going to say the next Mortal Kombat game.
Ooh, good choice.
Everyone
Good
else will be
choice.
scared to do it because GTA 6 managed to invent a price point that you can sell 5 million copies and still almost go bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
However, Ed Boon cannot be dissuaded.
No.
He sold Mortal Kombat 1 on the Switch for $70.
$70.
That man will sell Mortal Kombat 2 for $100 American.
Yeah, I do think it's Mortal Kombat, and then it's the next COD, right? And then they'll be like, "Why does the next COD sell very good?"
I think COD is the stronger choice.
I don't think. Here's the thing. I think Microsoft is too desperate to sell the next COD for $100.
I don't know.
Because
They're really stupid, though.
They're really stupid. But I have to stress, they haven't had a single W in 10 years.
Okay, so here's the situation.
Uh-huh.
Here's the situation I can see of. For Mortal Kombat, $100, they would announce the game with 75 fighters in it, 30 of which are characters from movies in the 80s.
Totally.
And it has to cost $100 because
the
all the
licensing
licensing fees demand it.
Yeah.
God, yeah, that's probably true.
Now,
That's true.
the $100 Call of Duty game requires a blood sacrifice of at least 6 studios. And it's advertised as, we got Bethesda and Machine Works and Obsidian all working on Call of Duty.
No, here's the thing. No, because the thing is, the people who make COD hate you. That is like the thing you've got to remember anytime you think of a COD game. The people who make COD are 1, fascists, and 2, hate you. And as a result, and like they hate anybody being happy. So as a result, the $100 COD game would have less in it than the most recent COD game.
Oh, you know what? You're right, Sarah. You know what it would have, though? It'd be the 9/11 game.
Yeah.
$100 9/11 COD game.
$100 9/11 copy.
They had to pay the license right for George W. Bush. It's the only way. They had to pay him personally like $50 million to allow them to do the scene where he admits that he's directly responsible for World Trade Center.
Because we're at what? It was the Gulf War was the newest one, right?
Yeah.
We're caught up.
You were basically caught up.
What's the next big event? It's 9/11.
But here's the thing. It'll still be a game that was developed by one studio. If you get Microsoft pulling the trigger on, like, we got 5 other studios to collaborate on this game, it's going to be them going, here's our $100 video game. It's Castle Wolfendoom versus Master Chief. Shut the fuck up and give us $100 or we'll kill you.
Castle Wolfendoom with Castle Wolf and Halo. Halo Doom, and then in the end, Knuckles font and Duke.
They grab you by the shoulders and go, we are making Halo Infinite, but Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. Give us $100.
And then go to hell.
You are going to be able to have BJ Blazkowicz and the Doom guy in a death battle in like a zombie map that some 13-year-old game made on our toolkit. Please, you need to give us $100 right now, or all of our kneecaps are going to get broken.
And then
we're going to have to sell our company to South Korea. It's the only way to survive.
And then the thing is, Ed Boon has to get mad on Twitter because he licensed out Doom Guy and PJ Blazkowicz and Duke Nukem for his $100 game.
Meanwhile, Fortnite's just, we've got Doom Guy and we're free. Shut the fuck up, Fortnite.
Meanwhile, Nintendo is like, here, it's Kirby. We made a little Kirby game for your Switch too. And it sells 10 million units.
Yeah, it sells 10 million easy.
I think Nintendo is 15 years out from being able to go, here's our $100 video game for the Switch too. We made an open world Mario game that looks like a 2025 Unreal Engine 5 game, but is somehow running on a PS4.
Mm-hmm.
Here's our $100 Zelda game. Hyrule is now the size of a real actual continent.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, in the development of this game, we have solved quantum computing. Your Switch can do that now. This video game's $100. Wow,
We've developed an actual artificial intelligence, and it's in your game now. We've brought data to life.
I do miss the older Legend of Zelda like formula and everything, and I have difficulties with the newer stuff. However, I am on board for the future in which all mainline Zelda titles fulfill the exact same role that Half-Life games use.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, yeah, we put this mechanic in the game because we wanted to see if it was possible to get this complex simulation running on a toaster.
The Tears of the Kingdom 3 comes out, and it's doing the shit that Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart did with like instant loading.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like you're warping between like 4 different Hyrules. Yeah, we just figured it out.
Sideload Super Mario Odyssey into the Zelda game.
Yeah, you know the ROM hacks that are like it's Super Metroid and Link to the Past.
Yeah,
combined.
Exactly.
Nintendo's like, yeah, here's our real version. The next Smash Bros is an adventure game. We just put all our games into one.
Space Emissary, please come back. They let Suda Goichi work on a Smash Brothers game once, and then the beautiful dream died forever.
We just put all these games together. It's fine. It just loads instantly. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we heard you people were complaining about how we had that Breath of the Wild concept art that was like Link on a motorcycle and there was a UFO or whatever, and you said we didn't go with that. So anyway, the next Zelda game is also just the next Metroid game.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
We got 3 more.
All right.
Pal World maker Pocket Pair to publish Tales of Kenzara Studios' next game. That's good for them.
That's just a word salad of a headline, though.
I don't know what Tales of Kenzara is.
I don't know what the fuck that is. Yeah.
That was a Metroidvania that came out last year. It was African themed.
It was just one of those ones that was actually part of the African Developers Initiative.
Yeah.
Or whatever it's called.
That's
cool.
Tales of Kenzara Zao. And yeah, Pocket Pair is going to fund their next game.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Cool.
If you're an indie dev who just unexpectedly made $35 million and you don't know what the fuck to do with it because your indie studio, Pal World probably has 20 people working on it.
Yeah.
Right? And they're oh, this is still a lot of money left over. What the fuck do we do with this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the answer is that you start publishing other people's cool niche video games. I think that's cool.
Yeah. Also, it's very good because obviously a game that's based off of African mythology and folklore. Mm-hmm. It had some opinions about it.
Yeah,
there were some people online that had some words to say about it. Uh-huh. And so it's good to see the Pal World guys are just hey, do you want a big fat check?
Yeah, this is also This is also great news because the last time this studio was in the news, by the way, was 3 months ago with Tales of Kenzara Zao Dev Surgeon Studios puts entire game team on hiatus due to lack of funding.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So I'm really glad to hear their fortunes have turned around.
I'm really glad Pal World decided to write a $10,000 check to Oreos.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically what the PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds studio did for the Dead Space guy, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's hey, dude, we like your product. We want to give you a little walking around money.
We need more. We need more checks for Oreos. This is what the industry needs.
Mm-hmm.
It's just hey, we got way too much money. Do you want some of it so that you can make your game? They're not even in the same genre.
Yeah.
They're just hey man, here.
We got money. Do you want some money? We have so much money. You have no idea.
We got that Nintendo money.
And I bet that every time Pal World gets a free update, it's just No Man's Sky, right?
Right, yeah.
It just means more people are oh, I should finally play Pal World. And then they buy it. And it's oh, fuck. Now we've got even more money. It's one of those, it's a money printer. They really are stealing from Nintendo because it prints money.
They saw all the Twitch like audience for people who are like, yeah, we have the SevTech Minecraft mod with PokeCraft installed, and like, but you have to go to all this effort to set up like 3 different mod lists and use like 2 different side loaders or whatever. It's like, what if we just made our game that?
Yeah.
And then they made $1 billion.
They made so much fucking like. Didn't that game sell like 20 million copies or something?
It sold a crazy amount.
Hold on, Pal World sales. Jesus Christ!
What?
While you look that up, I'm posting a picture of Pup in the group chat.
Please do. Hold on.
What are the total sales for that?
Well, I want to see this picture first. Wait. That's correct. Yeah. Also, as of February 22nd, 2024, so last year, the game has sold over 15 million units.
Fuck!
And that's like a $30 game normally, right?
$30 video game.
That's a big chunk of change.
That's a lot of walking around money.
That's insane.
And specific language of sold units means they are referring to sales, and it's like that game, like at most, is like what 30% off at most, but still, that's an MSRP of $30. That's 150 million hypothetically.
So much money. Holy shit! And that's from last year. They've almost certainly moved more units since then. Like, because again, every time Pal World goes on sale, somebody goes, "I should buy Pal World," right? Like. That's insane.
That game just turned a year old like 9 days ago.
That's so crazy. Good for them.
15 million units by the way.
I should buy Pal World.
Hey Sony. Hey Sony, do you want to guess how much that game cost to develop?
Definitely not like 33 million.
Oh my god. Probably
maybe a single digit million.
Again,
probably 1 million. Where are they based out of?
Like we said, they reused a lot of assets.
Oh wait, no, that's right. They're a Japanese developer, aren't they?
Are they?
Really?
Yeah, Pocket Pair's a Japanese developer.
Wow.
Well, look, it was easy. It didn't cost as much because they got to reuse assets from Nintendo.
You know, normally it would cost about $50,000 to $60,000 to write your own catch rate formula. However, they had pre-made.
Oh yeah, no, they're really based. They're just based out of fucking Japan. Wow, I'm actually really surprised by that. So the dev cost is low.
Yeah.
Right? Like, wow. God, they probably made so much fucking money. That's absurd. Good for them.
Yeah.
Good, and again, just a good use of all that excess money.
Good use of that money is just like, we're going to publish other people's indie games. That's cool.
Yeah,
good for
them. What you want to hear. Speaking of things you want to hear, Claire Obscure Expedition 33 launches April 24.
Yay!
Yay!
Only a couple months ago. That game's going to be good as fuck.
Happy birthday to me. I am taking that day off.
I have not watched any more trailers. I am just gonna go in totally blind and I'm gonna soak it in. I'm really excited.
They put out another trailer to announce the release date. Don't worry, you can watch it because it's just looks like the first one, and I can't tell if there's anything important in it.
Oh, good, cool.
Again, just like with Reactivate, I keep thinking about our reaction to that trailer. Where we're like, oh, well, this looks like slop. Is it another big open world adventure thing,
Dark
like
Souls
fucking
knockoff?
Forspoken? And oh my god, that's a turn order.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Oh, I'm the asshole.
Yeah, no, this game looks. Also, Oaths just got home, so Peanut's very fired up. So if you hear shuffling in the background, that's why.
Well, we've got one more article to go.
One more.
So
she narrowly escapes having to do the podcast.
Final Fantasy creator has one more RPG in him, calls it a successor to Final Fantasy VI. So, Fantasia
I'd love to hear more about it.
Yeah.
Fantasia Neo Dimension was going to be Sakaguchi's final game, but he's decided he's got one more in him.
No.
And he has said he wants to make a successor to Final Fantasy VI.
No, here's the thing. Sakaguchi is exactly the same as fucking Hayao Miyazaki. It's always his last game, right?
It is 100% a scenario where he's like, yeah, Fantasia's going to be my last one, and they put it out on fucking Apple Arcade or whatever. And he's like, but no one fucking played it because it's out on Apple Arcade. Now I feel dissatisfied. I need to make another one.
And I gotta put it on a system that'll sell, so I'm gonna put it on the Switch too.
Here's a quote for him. From the article, Sakaguchi said that he intended for Fantasian to be his final game, but had too much fun working with the team behind it to actually retire when it was done. Quote, humans are greedy creatures, aren't we?
So true,
So true, King. Listen, I guess that he's, you know what? Do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
You know, yeah.
Like, that's all that is my man is still having, and that's why I don't think this last game is his actual last game. Because my man does what he loves, so he doesn't work a day in his life, right? Like,
here's another quote for him in the finale of the article. Quote, in the distant future, or maybe after I have already left this world, I imagine this game will find its meaning if someone chooses to look into the legacy of either myself or Final Fantasy. Yeah, this won't be his last game. He's gonna keep doing it.
I wish him luck in hopefully making a game that lives up to his lofty ambition.
I hope so. I hope, you know what? I hope he does make a spiritual successor to FF6, and I hope it kicks ass, you know?
Yeah.
As long as he's not afraid to tell his people, look, this game, we're gonna make this in Unity, and it's not gonna look pretty, but we're gonna make it big. I think it's possible.
I guess it's true.
Yeah.
Maybe this is his last game, because he is very famously addicted to FF14. So maybe he's like, I'm gonna make one more, and then all I'm doing is soloing Eureka Orthos, because I want that title.
Hey, Sakaguchi, I was wondering, this character, she is very reminiscent of FF14's Y'shtola, but I can't help but notice that she's always basically naked all the time and has a really big ass. What's up with that?
Word? What's up?
Humans are greedy creatures, aren't we?
Their episode title, humans are greedy creatures, aren't we? And just a picture of the most lurid drawing of Y'shtola we can find and not get kicked off of Apple.
No, I think it's funnier if the title is humans are greedy creatures, we still use that very unsettling picture of Neelix and Kess.
Yes, I agree.
Oh god. People are going to come into this episode afraid of what we talk about and leave confused.
Listen, if you've made it this far while looking at your phone and looking at that fucking picture of Neelix, then good for you.
Thanks for not leaving us yet.
Thanks for not
thank you.
unsubscribing.
I want to personally thank you for leaving that picture of Neelix up the entire time. I don't know why you did that, but I'm transfixed by you.
Oh, I'm looking at him now. I don't want to look at it anymore.
What's not expressed in the low quality of that picture, Ben, is that Neelix's actor also wears like these contacts that make his eyes like unsettlingly brown gold. I really don't like looking at him, which is a shame because he's in a lot of teams of Voyager. So
he is a member of the main cast.
Great.
So I am gonna have to find a way to cope.
And he looks like if you turned Snarf from Thundercats into a real human boy.
Yeah, he does.
Snarf.
I got Oats like that one.
Oats, he liked that one.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Get out of here.
Thank you to Visager for use of our background music. You can email us all at our things. Follow us on BlueSky. Email us at thegorgepodcast.gmail.com. And stay tuned for Of the Devil on Friday. And also, if you haven't already, watch our streams of God Hand.
That's right. We just finished God Handuary, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do a live read of episode 0 of The Devil on Friday. I'm really excited for everybody to see it because it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
And just as a reminder, that won't be on the usual Gorge channel. That'll be on my personal Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Mystery Systems.
Mm-hmm.
And then on we're gonna alternate between Of the Devil and Ace Attorney Investigations until one of those is finished.
Yes, I will still be trying to do something for episode 1 when it launches next week, but I don't know when that will happen or if, because it's one of those things where I need everyone to be there because it's a live read, right?
We'll make it work.
All right.
So we'll figure something out. It might not be the day of, it might be a later day.
Mm-hmm.
But, after that and doing like one of that, we'll alternate those until they're both done, which I imagine might happen around the same time, honestly.
Maybe. We'll see. We are like halfway through Ace Attorney Investigation, so it's got a head start. But, yeah. All right, that'll do it for us.
One more time for the road, folks. One more time.
Yeah.
Holst.
Fuck Herman Holst. Goodbye forever.
Except for the fact that even though he has stepped down from CEO, he is still working at Sony Interactive, so he might still have some opportunities to tell him to go fuck himself later.
Oh, good. That's
good.
good.
Yeah, we might get one more.
But one last, fuck you, Herman Holst, CEO of Sony.
Yeah.
That's right.
You
or
ruined
CEO of
everything.
PlayStation, whatever.
Christ alive.
Eat my shorts.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.